All right, guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to our weekly recap video. This is not a morning note video, but the weekly recap. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. Glad to be with you this morning. I usually do it over the weekend. Didn't do it last night. Decided that it would probably be easier to do a hybrid morning note. I mean, it's the morning. It's Monday morning. You guys want to know what's happening. Sunday, I don't think a lot of people do watch it. So I was kind of like clashing. Like I do a recap on Sunday night, and then I do a morning note in the morning. So it's kind of like, why don't I just do the video in the morning and kind of recap it? You know what I mean? So that's kind of about my thought process. So here we are doing it, guys. Glad to be with you. Futures are open. It is 7:30 this morning on a Monday. This is not Sunday. Dow futures are up 173 points. NASDAQ is up 0.70%. The S&P is up 0.45%. Russell up 0.77%. Still with the small caps, right? Dollar index is up this morning, 0.19%, 104.51, even though equities are higher. Interesting. VIX is up 1.46%. Crude oil's down this morning. Gold is slightly up. Silver slightly up. In terms of Forex, nothing really special other than maybe 108.30 on the euro dollar being down quarter point. Bitcoin above 70,000. We've talked about that very much. 70,000 target hit. That's great. Let's see if Mara comes to play. Ethereum up 3.39% on the future side. All right. So what I got open in front of me is IWM. This is small caps ETF. I have the 225 calls with the team. So as you know, finally starting to move. 226 now. I'm glad we didn't close last week because we're going to get this push. So I'm going to put an alert here at the wick highs on RTY. I don't think it really matters. We don't have much in terms of economic data today. So at least today will be kind of a quiet one, I assume, in terms of news. So that's where we are. IWM ready to break out. I still like small caps. If we're going to take a look at the target, it still remains 228.69. That's your gap to fill from the weekly. Absolutely love you there. Lovely there. Let's take a look at some earnings together while we're here, right? A quick recap. All right, let's go to, we're going to go to earnings calendar. Here we go. McDonald's just reported earnings. I believe they have. Tuesday, SoFi, PayPal, Pfizer, Procter & Gamble, British Petroleum. Tuesday, AMD, Microsoft, Starbucks. I remember Starbucks took a hit with their earnings last time. Arista, Pinterest. These are the names that were circled by, I think, investing.com is the ones that they're focused on, for example. Boeing on Wednesday, Meta on Wednesday as well, after the bell, Qualcomm. And then we're taking a look at Moderna. It's another one coming up. MasterCard on Wednesday. Amazon, Apple, Intel. Thursday is going to be big. I would say the two biggest days would be Tuesday and Thursday. And then energy on Friday with ExxonMobil and Chevron. DraftKings reports, Roku reports, Block, which is Square. Mara reports on Thursday too. I got options on Mara, so that's going to be an interesting one. And that's where we are for the week. Big week, guys. It's a gauntlet, right? All these earnings. Next, we have economic data. Monday, quiet, as we know. This is from Forex Factory. Tomorrow, we have the JOLTS jobs numbers. That is a market mover somewhat. But we also have the jobs number, the jobs report on Friday. So that could be just one of those bumping heads things where probably not a lot of movement on that Tuesday, but the movement will be on Wednesday. On Friday, excuse me. Wednesday is the FOMC. This is the Federal Reserve meeting. The expectation is no hike, no cut. The expectation for September is a cut. So there is risk that there might be a cut this week on Wednesday. That would be the upside risk, meaning stocks would probably go higher rather quickly, mostly small caps. But if they don't, I think things will just kind of be as is. Thursday is the unemployment claims. We have that every Thursday. ISM manufacturing PMI and manufacturing prices. So these are just surveys. Like I said, I've said this before. It's not even a huge deal anymore. Inflation is not the most important thing in the world like it used to be in 2022 and 2023, guys. It's different now. Now we're talking about the Fed. We're talking about their cutting rates, earnings, profit margins, that sort of thing. That's important. Inflation is so 2022, 2023, guys. That's over. So not over like there's no inflation, but it's kind of not important to the trading aspect of what we do because it's already priced in that the Fed is going to cut. Just a heads up. All right. So that's where we are. If there's any kind of stock that stands out what would it be in terms of earnings? And mine is AMD. AMD, I'm ready to look at buying some calls. We're pushing higher, obviously. Add the alert here. But again, for earnings, we're not going to mess with it. Taking a look here, I'm looking to see if we can recapture 153. That is your 200-day moving average. We're at 141. Again, earnings this week, applied volatility would be high. That would be my first target. So like the 155 calls, if I were to, I'm not. But downside risk at 122, just back within this channel like we talked about. But I expect us to bounce on AMD because semiconductors are ready to bounce as well. And we could see here this nice trend line, but you could see that 100-day moving average holding up. Again, we have been above the 100-day moving average on semiconductors, SMH, since the end or the beginning of November of 2023. So we've been holding on that for about, 9 months now? You can see we're still bouncing here. Now we're bouncing pre-market. I like SMH to get back above this trend line. Let's see if we can get above right there, 247.84. Again, depending on how long this price action takes, this trend line goes higher. So it may not be perfect, but if you are looking for a good spot to target, if we're targeting trades for SMH, which I expect to go higher, even though we have AMD and Qualcomm and all that, it's oversold now, 255.24. And I'm going to pivot to NVIDIA. I have calls too. Let's take a look at them in the hour chart. They are up slightly this morning. Need a break of 117.80. We have a gap to fill here at 121. I fully expect us to fill that gap on NVIDIA because just like SMH, this filled a gap. It is starting to hit some, well, SMH didn't fill a gap, but it's starting to hit a little bit of support here with this nice candle. And the 100-day moving average, we're above it as well. So look at SMH bouncing off the 100. NVIDIA being the biggest part of SMH is above the 100. But yet AMD is below the 200. So AMD being the laggard, let's take a look at Qualcomm. They're below the 100. So Qualcomm has earnings as well. Little difficult to say here what might happen to them because we do have a gap to fill at 169.55. I already see it. See that? This was the full flag that we had. A nice pop here. So looking at it here, 169.55. That's the level that we're looking for if it breaks down on Qualcomm, and you could target 160.85. Again, this would be kind of your downside move, downside hedge sort of thing on the semiconductors. But I'm watching that. And I also posted that, I believe, on the live market blog on some of the names that we're watching. There we go. Oh, I didn't put that there. I put in the watch list in charts. Excuse me. This is for our options members as semiconductor ETF. So I posted it there. All members can check it out. Let's go see what we did post on the stocks we're watching this week. We'll go over it together. All right. So the first one is Google. They reported earnings already. And we're sitting on the 100-day moving average. Break below 166.10. We have a gap to fill here at 161.38. 161.38. There we go. I think the bot had the wrong price. So 161.38. This is not, I should have got to put a 1 there. So 161.38 is the gap fill. So again, if we break below 166.10, or not, by the way, because the market's higher, then this would be the gap fill and it would still be within this trend line here. So Google was actually weak on Friday when the market was rather green, even tech. So we're starting to see some, weakness, relative weakness compared to tech. They just reported earnings, big fall. We have a gap to fill above. So we're tail between two gaps. We're closer to the downside one, but if we do bounce higher, I'm going to place an alert at 176.11. If that happens, then I would go long to fill this gap at 181. So Google is a tail between two gaps. Tesla is the other name I have. And let's take a look at it. So I'll fix this for you guys. Tesla Golden Cross alert 50 above the 200 DMA soon. See this right here? This is your yellow line. That's a 50-day, 200-day on the red line. If you cross above it, that's a golden cross, usually very bullish. We like a bounce play here to fill the overhead earnings gap of 236.52 right there. You just need to break 226 first. Let's move this over. There we go. 226.51. That's my alert. We're at 223.91 currently. So let's see if we get that break. There's still that trend line we're still fighting. 236.52 being that gap to fill right there on Tesla. Let's see if we get that push. Remember, Tesla, Google, both of these names have reported already. So the risk for earnings are already done. I want to play the turnaround on both. IWM, like I spoke about, looking absolutely lovely this morning, starting to move higher. We're in the money. I believe we have the 225s currently on the signal side. So that is very good news because I was a little disappointed. And I want to show you guys what happened on my IWM and why I was kind of hurting in my mind, anyways. And remember, this is all a mental game, guys. IWM calls were 23% and 26%. 10 a.m., July 26th. Then it went back to green after it flipped. 225 calls plus 3%. I'm planning to hold over the weekend. It looks like that was a good hold. Why? Because we're right here at 226.19. So that'll be a good start for our week. I know that was kind of a pain in the butt to hold on Friday. You know, everyone got the updates, but I'm holding. I like IWM. 228.70 is still my target. And I made sure to let everyone know on the blog as well through the bot that we do have calls on IWM. So, you know, I guess you could say we have our own conflict of interest, let's just say. But that's a level that we're looking for. Small cap summer is still in effect. 228 weekly gap. You know the drill. Ready to rock. All right. We went over a couple of names here. Let's go over Apple because they report earnings. And at this point, Apple is not really showing us much. We're below the 20. Next support is 209.80. That is your 50-day. If that does tag or break on Apple after earnings, 200 is your major support. It would just be a giant retest. So personally, looking at it here, I actually think Apple pulls back. I think Apple gets down to 210, 209.80, gives us a chance to play the retest. So Apple, I expect will pull back. I don't know what the expectations are in terms of earnings, just based on the price action. Until we're above the 20, I think we get to 209.80, even though we are starting to bounce a little bit this morning on Apple. I think they're delaying their iOS AI stuff. iOS 18 will be missing some AI components. That's going to be delayed, yet the stock is up marginally this morning. So we'll see. Microsoft. All right, Microsoft's upward trend. You're finding that 100-day very similar to SMH, the semiconductor ETF, on how that's fighting its 100-day. But I have this shaded circle here, and I love Microsoft. But depending on how it moves, if it breaks above 434.03, then yes, higher we go. But if we stay below 425.49, if we break the lows, I'm going to place another alert. Why? I think the 400 puts are coming up, but you have to break the lows. Okay. So that's Microsoft. Amazon. Amazon looking a little better, but it is fighting the 100-day. I have an alert above 189.24. If that does break, I'm going to keep an eye on the 195s, kind of keep it close. Last time I traded the 200s, didn't work out for me. So Amazon has been one of those where I'm just trying to be a little more careful on it. Got faked out a couple times. So that's where we are on Amazon. They report again on Thursday. So we have to break above 189.24. Just looking at it here, what to expect. Well, it really depends on really how we do ahead of time. I would say 189.24. You could see 1, 2 breakout, and then now we're testing again. Looking at it here, you know, triple tops, I don't believe in. We usually break out of it, but it seems that we're just being in range. Here's the scary part. If we don't get to 189.24 and we roll, we're actually probably setting up for a head and shoulders. Here's your left shoulder, your right shoulder, possibly your right shoulder here. So Amazon is a little concerning to me. So the more I look at these mega caps, there is some possibilities of pullbacks here. Kind of lines up with August seasonality being rather weak. We will have to see. Wait and see. Best bet, put your alerts. If it breaks down, you know what to do. If it breaks out, you know what to do. At least let the market do the work for you. You don't have to keep staring at it all day. Completely get it. That gets very, very old. All right. I think I went over that economic data. Let's take a look at the watches and charts. What do I expect in terms of the Fed? I personally don't expect them to do anything this week, but the risk is that they do cut 25 basis points. So if they do, what is the expectation? RTY is going to soar. That would be small caps if that were to happen. It's a big if, But RTY, small caps, if we got a rate cut, that's what you want to be in. NASDAQ, you would think, oh, yeah, it's going to help NASDAQ. Small caps will be the one it helps. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. We traded futures last night with Nick. Did very well. We're going to wait for 337. 337, 338. If we can break above that, well, we got a lot to go to 700 because that's the full retrace, at least on that previous fall. Right there. You see that one big candle? We're on our trek to get back to here, back to 20,000, really. And we got 700 points to play with in terms of futures. Sounds very exciting, but we need the break. 338, guys. 338 is the break on futures. If we get there, I want to go long. RTY, I would say go long now, but again, it's better off just to wait. 2304.90 is the highs. If we break that, then yeah, definitely long. We know the drill with this upward triangle. Beautiful. Even got a retest as well. So you can't have a bear market, guys, when small caps are doing well. So yes, you did get a little bit of rotation out of these small cap semiconductors that have been on fire, but it's starting to see that more and more sectors. We're expanding this bull market. Look at XLF. If financials are good, usually the market's doing pretty good. And you can see XLF near what, 52-week highs, breaking out too. So I would say it's rather optimistic out there. Sure. The problem is kind of finding what we can do to take advantage. That's kind of the tougher part. Let's take a look at S&P. Anything here? We'll put alerts. Actually, yeah, this would probably confirm it because this would confirm the breakout. 55.41. You can see you can break out above 55.34, and it's the low here from last Sunday. Yeah, wow. That was for last Sunday. The lows of last Sunday, we'll see if we can break above that. So ES, get me above 55.41. We'll see where we go. A couple of names, obviously, that I still have trades on. Let's go over them. Robinhood, where are we? We don't have report. We don't have earnings for them yet, but they are bouncing. Take a look at the daily trend line breakdown. Oof. So 21.54. Let's go to the hourly. Let's get above 22. We are green this morning. Maybe we get a little small cap action. Hood gets back to where we want to go. We have the options with earnings exposure. So that's good news. Mara. Happy to see you, Mara. 22.53. I placed these alerts on watches and charts for our options members. Hopefully this makes life easier. So I would just say, here's the levels I'm watching. I place these as alerts, and you could see Mara 22.53 was one of them. Here's Mara right now, about to break out. That's good. And why is that happening? Well, like we talked about last week, 70,000 Bitcoin, target acquired. Excellent. Beautiful trend line bounce. We played Mara. We took advantage. Excellent. 72,203 is next. Once that does hit, then we will get Mara together. Now, that could have been Trump speaking at the Bitcoin conference. That could be Kennedy speaking at the Bitcoin conference. Listen, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Technicals, price action dictate all. Do you think it's just a coincidence that we went higher because of the Bitcoin conference? No, it's price action, guys. 72,203. We get above that, Mara's coming to town. We'll probably get to 25 by then, and then we'd be in the money. So it's a volatile one. I know. It's a pain in the butt to trade Mara sometimes, but this is really the only way that we could take advantage with volume. If you think about it, BITO doesn't really have a ton of volume. That's the thing that kind of drives me nuts about that one. And not only that, guys, bull flag. Got your pull, flag, breakout. We're going to 25. Bitcoin's going to go to 72. Sorry, it took a little bit of time. I don't like sending these trades that we have to wait. I want it in 5 minutes for you guys. That's just me, but trust me, I don't do this on purpose. Upstart, taking a look at it here on the 1 hour. That is up this morning. And wait a minute. Do we have another bull flag? That's very nice. 29.68 for the break. Downward channel break about. That's what we're looking for. Upstart looking a lot better now. And then we had Palantir, one of my favorites, of course. Palantir above 27.42. That was part of my alerts here. So don't think that I just put numbers on the board. This is from Friday. And again, placing the numbers, I think it's a big help for you guys because now you can place your alerts and you don't have to worry. And now Palantir will break out now, breaking above the level. It was a very ugly Wednesday last Wednesday. Very, very ugly. We're going to see if we get to 29.25. They don't report earnings this week, but Palantir is something that I've been watching, as we know. The stock that we've traded many times just the past couple weeks. So let's go ahead and recap the week in terms of options. We had the August 16th 200 puts. That was pretty much all we got last week. Rather quiet. Glad we did puts on that day, but we're getting a turnaround now. So I fully expect that this week to be a little busier. Obviously, it's the gauntlet. We have economic data, earnings, Fed, all that good stuff. So we're ready to rock. I hope you guys are ready now. Thank you guys for joining me. No morning note. This is going to be kind of the morning note hybrid just for today. I'm just glad to get this all knocked out with some morning data, and now you're ready for the day. I will see you guys on the server if you are a member, and if you aren't, make sure to sign up for our live market blog on Discord. The information is scrolling below. Have a great rest of your morning. I will see you guys later. Cheers.